While we wait for that order to show up, let's talk a little bit about the layout and the plans that I have for it, or should I say, the lack of plans. In the previous video, we had a look at what the layout was going to look like, but with the help of some kind folks on the internet, I found a massive flaw in that plan. It turns out that it was not possible to get from one loop to the other without sending the train or the locomotive in an anti-clockwise direction. This wouldn't be ideal when running the trains, so to resolve this, one of the points was switched to operate in the opposite direction. After some more discussion with those same kind folks online, it also transpired that some of my crossovers going from one loop to the other, I had too many crossovers, so I removed some from the layout entirely. This didn't only save me some money, but it also made my layout a little bit more simple. As an absolute winner in my eyes. Now that we have briefly touched on the track, let's discuss the layout itself. At the moment, I have a design. That design is for the track, and of course it was taken from the Peco Set Track book. It isn't a design of my own making, but I am going to build it, and I am going to make it my own. As for what the layout is going to look like though, that is still very much up in the air. I haven't really given it much thought. I know that I'm going to mainly theme it around Metcalfe buildings because I don't have the immediate skills to scratch build, but it's going to be laid out as something I'm still very much working out. I know I want to go for something around the 1950s theme, but what? Well, that is still to be decided. The biggest challenge for me at this stage is getting my head around power. I think I have an understanding of how the power is going to work. I'll put a picture up on the screen somewhere now so you can have a look at where I've put my droppers. That part I think that I understand. The next part would be wiring it though, and because there are so many variables, wires, amps, controllers, soldering it, not soldering it, DCC, not DCC, I think I'm going to get some advice before going any further with that aspect. Oh, what's that? I think that my parcel might be here. So today my order from D-Rails has arrived and we're going to take a look at what was in the box. So we've got some ST10s here. These are pre-wired N-gauge straight pieces of short track, and then we've got some ST1s. These are the same as the ST10s, but these are not wired. We've got some ST12s. These are radius 1 curves, and then we've got some ST15s here. These are radius 2 curves, and then we've got some ST11s. These are N-gauge straights, and then we've got some ST3s, which are going to be used for shorter turnouts. Then we've got a ST6 point and some ST5s as well here. Then we've got some droppers which we're going to use to power the layout, and then some power connecting clips. And then finally we've got some Gagemaster Scenics cork sheet which I'm going to put underneath the track. So the next job to do is lay this out on the board and see what the layout looks like. We're not going to put the cork down at this stage or do any of the wiring. We're just going to dry lay it onto the board to see how it fits and what it looks like.
Now we're going to start clipping some of that track together. Moving it around and making sure that it's laid out onto the board in the diagram that I'd created. Taking various pieces of the track and putting them into the correct place to match the overall track plan that we'd created in AnyRail. You can see here that I'm taking some of the points and adding them to the top siding. They are a little bit fiddly, so you can't really see what I'm doing, but that one is now in place. And I'm just loosely laying the track onto the board there, just to see how that's going to fit before I clip them all in. There we got another point which I'm going to put onto the board now. Another one to go up at the top. This one takes us from the inner loop to the outer loop. And we've got an ST10 there. Those are the pre-soldered ST1s. Checking that our points work, and we can see that they do, which is great. No damage on there. Now that I've got some of the track laid down, I need to mark where I'm going to drill the holes to feed through the droppers, or these Pico PL82s. A bit like what we've got on the ST10s, with a red at one end and a black at the other. We need to do that on each of these, so we'll mark a hole there for the red, and up here we'll have a hole on the opposite side for the black. Do exactly the same on the other side, on the inner loop, inside for the red, and then outside for the black. And then what will happen there is we'll take our PL82s and the rail joiners that are on the end. These are already on the ends of the track. We've got a piece of track here I can show you. So on the ends we've got some rail joiners. These come off, and then we replace them with those from the droppers and feed them through the board. So here we have the layout dry fitted onto the board. There's no cork or anything like that currently laid down, but you can see how it's going to be laid out. We've got all of our sidings down here, along with the sidings up at the top. We've got the ST10s up here ready to be drilled through. I've got some of them still folded up just because I wanted to see how they were going to work. The clearance is good at both ends. So the next job is to take this all back up, mark out where we're going to put the cork down, cut it, and then glue the cork onto the board. But I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm going to take the cork and cover the entire of the baseboard. I think I bought enough to do that, which might be better in the long run, rather than trying to measure the space between each rail bed to lay a strip of cork. So I'm quite happy with how that's turned out today. That's a job well done. So in the next video we'll have a look at laying that cork onto the board and refitting the track on top. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the video, please do give me a like and a subscribe, and that would be very much appreciated. See you in the next one.